Hello, sports fan. This is Stevie here for JustMyPicks.com, and I'm bringing you a special fantasy breakdown of the tight ends, the top 10 tight ends that you should be picking up for this season for your fantasy NFL draft. I'm going to start at number 10, go all the way to number 1, and let you know why I think that you should draft these tight ends the way you should draft them. Coming in at number 10, Owen Daniels of the Texans. Simply put, he will have a lot of chances to catch the ball. In a lot of these play action modes, they're either going to run the ball with Aaron Foster or dump it off to a tight end. And that's basically their whole offense. They do have Andre Johnson, but Owen Daniels is one of the best tight ends in the NFL right now. He's a system player that does well, and he's a true pro. He comes and shows up each week and does his job and does it great. Coming in at number 9. Martellus Bennett going to the Bears is going to be a blessing for Jay Cutler and Brandon Marshall. He will improve their offense greatly. He will become one of Jay Cutler's best friends because he catches the ball and he gets a lot of yards after catch. He does a lot of the solid things that you want a tight end to do. He doesn't block as well, so you don't have to worry about that, him being on the field for blocking running plays. But he catches the ball extremely well, and he does what he does. A solid pickup at tight end if you really want a tight end. Coming in at number 8, Jared Cook going to St. Louis to follow Jeff Fisher. Sam Bradford will fall in love with this guy because he catches the ball, he blocks extremely well, he's a team player, he goes through and does his job, doesn't make a big fuss. Jeff Fisher loves him so much, he will feature him in a lot of plays as far as play action go, and a lot of just plays where he's up against a cornerback instead of a tight end, instead of a linebacker. And as a tight end, he creates a lot of mismatches, he goes across the middle. A phenomenal tight end. Coming in at number 7, Greg Olsen of the Panthers. Greg Olsen will be Cam Newton's bodyguard, and he catches a lot of plays. He goes across the middle, puts his body at risk, and he does a lot of solid things for the Carolina Panthers. Him being the second, third, fourth, and fifth offensive weapon for the Carolina Panthers, because Steve Smith is their number 1 option. He creates so many things for them, and plus, they don't really have a lot of offensive weapons in Carolina. They have running backs that can't stay healthy. They have Steve Smith, who often gets double teamed. So Olsen will be forced to create mismatches and make major plays. Plus, we see him catch the ball exceptionally well over the past 2 seasons. Coming in at number 6, Dennis Pitta of the Baltimore Ravens will be huge for Joe Flacco. This is a transition year where Ray Lewis isn't there, Ed Reed isn't there. They're going to rely on their tight ends a lot more. They're going to rely on Ray Rice a lot, but Dennis Pitta will be the beneficiary of a lot of open passes. He will also slip right into that defense with a lot of the screen plays that they have and the play action plays that they have. I love the Baltimore Ravens offensive system now. They share the ball a lot more, and it's not a run-based team anymore. So I'm looking for Dennis Pitta to have a solid season. Coming in at number 5, Jason Witten of the Dallas Cowboys. He's always going to be on this list as long as he has Tony Romo or whoever in Dallas, because he works extremely hard. He works at his craft. He works to get better each year. Even though he's getting up there in age, he's still producing like one of the younger tight ends. He's still getting the job done. So I'm picking him at that spot. Coming in at number 4, Vernon Davis. San Francisco 49ers have an injury to their best wide receiver. So Vernon Davis will step up, and he would not only be the emotional leader for this team, but he will step into that football leader mode. Colin Kaepernick is a big question because they really don't have another weapon. Like, they lost Walker to the Titans, so that really puts a damper on things in San Francisco as far as weapons go. But I think Vernon Davis, when he's healthy, is one of the best young, in-shape tight ends that can get the job done in the NFL. Vernon Davis is a freak of nature. He creates mismatches all over the place, and I think that because he knows that he's looked on as a leader by Harbaugh and all the other guys, he will produce and he will get the job done in San Fran. He really could elevate himself on this list depending on the way that teams are drafted. So if you have a chance to get him in this draft early, please go after him. He is a solid tight end. Coming in at number 3, Rob Gronkowski. The only reason he is this low and not number 1 is because of his injury history. Rob Gronkowski went on the field, creates so many mismatches. There's not one linebacker in the NFL who can guard him one-on-one. There's not a safety who can guard him one-on-one. There's not a corner one-on-one. He's just too big and too tall. He's just a freakish athlete, and Tom Brady will use him as his disposal. All he does is catch touchdowns. That's all he does. He catches big plays and does a lot of big things. So I'm looking for him to do a lot of things well in this offense when he gets healthy. But I'm telling you, don't take him as your first choice at tight end because his injuries. You don't know when he's going to be back. You don't know what time frame he's going to be playing. So instead, I think that you should pick one of the other tight ends on this list. But if you have a chance to pick him up, I would say in the 4th or 5th round, go for it, because when he does come back, he will produce big time. Coming in at number 2, Tony Gonzalez of the Atlanta Falcons. With the Atlanta Falcons improving their offense and keep getting better, there's so many things that he can do well. It is so much that the Atlanta Falcons depend on Tony Gonzalez to do. They brought him out of retirement via semi-retirement, him thinking he wanted to retire for a reason. He is still playing at the top of his game. Even though he's up there in age, he gets the job done better than a lot of young tight ends coming up in the game and a lot of tight ends that are veteran in the game. So Tony Gonzalez, to me, is the best tight end to ever play football. And I look at his stats, I look at what he did last season and the year before. He just keeps getting stronger. He delivers in the red zone. He delivers for Matt Ryan when Matt Ryan's in trouble and on the scramble and on the run. Tony Gonzalez just knows where to be on the field. He knows how to avoid the defense. He knows how to avoid the big hits and just score touchdowns and be solid. Coming in at number 1, Jimmy Graham of the New Orleans Saints. Jimmy Graham with Drew Brees puts up monster numbers. Even when Drew Brees didn't have Sean Payton, he depended on Jimmy Graham a lot of times. And a lot of the highlights we saw last season were of Jimmy Graham slam dunking on the goalpost. And that's what Drew Brees wants to continue seeing. Drew Brees' best wideout threat is Marcus Colston. Then you have Jimmy Graham at the second position, because Jimmy Graham, like Tony Gonzalez and Rob Gronkowski, big physical guy who likes to use his hands a lot for separation, who often comes off screens, who often comes off play action, and Drew Brees catches him for a lot of yak, and he catches him down the field a lot of times. This has been the top 10 tight end breakdown for your fantasy football league from JustMyPicks.com. Also, follow me on Twitter at JustMyPicksTV. Also, check me out on YouTube. Subscribe on my videos. Share on my videos. Leave me comments on what you did like, what you didn't like. And also, good luck on your fantasy football this year.